I've been talking to this girl for a few months. We are both 24 and during sex one night she said back to back 4 times her ex's name. I was in the moment so I just kept going, but after I brought it up, I asked her what her ex's names were and she listed off all 3 and one was that name. I said nice you called me that during sex. She said there's no way and she could tell I was upset, so she left and walked to her friend's house. She called me crying and told me about how that ex caused her trauma and that she never meant to say anything and talked about other past trauma with me and basically has a breakdown moment. I can tell this chick has had some shitty guys and bad experiences. Mind you, on this night she was pretty drunk when she showed up. I've never been called an ex's name before and it weighs on me a bit. Is this no big deal or should I be worried about her fantasizing about him? Edit. Didn't think this was gonna go this crazy. I can't respond to everyone but thank you all. More info. I was also drinking and she instigated sex, so no, I didn't take advantage of her. Also, this ex and her broke up a year before she met me, hasn't talked to him since. Because when she broke up with him he beat the shit out of her. Also, I knew about all of this at least a month before this happened during sex. It's not like she made the story up to cover her ass. Hard to fit all this context in this, and I still prob have more details I haven't shared. I apologize, but thanks for reading. Also, good news, you have 2 more exes to work your way through. Think of them as mini-bosses. Scott Pilgrim? Sounds like she has unhealed trauma she needs to work on before being in a relationship. Or she needed a quick way out of an embarrassing situation. 4 times back to back. She was pretty much summoning him at that point. Dude, get some respect for yourself and leave. Beetlejuice. She is trying to tell you it's not gonna work out. She literally flipped her mistake and your anger towards it into, she's traumatized, leaving you feeling bad for her. That's con 101. Seriously rethink your interaction with this woman. Yeah. AKA emotional manipulation, weaponizing emotions. Once I learned that was a thing, I got way better at not giving into it. People keep saying trauma, but honestly, depending on how long she was with the ex and how long you have been with her, it could have been an honest mistake. Especially when you're having sex and not fully thinking, your muscle memory brain could say what you're used to saying. Now if it's been years you've been together, it could be more, but I wouldn't say this is in any way a deal breaker, especially when she herself didn't clue in she had said it. Yeah, we have only known each other for 4 months. This ex she broke up with about a year ago. And I agree, I've said weird shit during sex to that I would never say, usually tears of joy. I love how often the word trauma gets tossed around when people try to explain shitty or even just innocent but strange behavior. I just commented SMTH like that, and then I found your comment. No offense to Americans, but 9 out of 10 when the word trauma is used. I kind of know it's an American writing the story. If you look at the psychology about it, it's actually not a big deal. But last time I said that, people lost their shit. Thing is, you use similar names in similar situations. Lovers may mix up names. Rarely. If it is frequent, that's something else, when in a situation similar to that with an ex, cuddling, in bed, etc., because that word is related to that activity. That is also why parents will sometimes mix up names of their kids. It's the situation, name connection, not the missing the ex connection. If you do a bit of research on it, you will see a lot of professionals, not advice columnists, explaining this. Sounds like she was fantasizing about the ex-boyfriend and not you. Lol, she's definitely fantasizing about him. Not necessarily. I once called my husband by my ex's name. Sometimes the brain has routines or habits that don't mean anything. My husband didn't freak out about it and we continued dating and it hasn't happened again. I didn't say it during sex, but I feel like it would happen more during sex since your brain is focused on the sex and so a wrong name may slip out of habit. I doubt seriously that she is going to cry out the name of someone that traumatized her. I think you should take a step and reconsider the relationship. How about telling her she needs to figure out the issues she still has with her ex? When she is in a better place with it, then call you and see what happens. Be nice, not angry. Tell her you like her but you will not compete with an ex. Leave it open and don't speak with her again unless she calls. I mean it, ma. I could have been a mistake happening once, but like, Where is your mind, girl? How do y'all even come to saying other people's names while having sex? The fuck? I'd just be thinking about the person I'm having sex with, otherwise what's the pleasure, lol. I've had to close my eyes and think of someone else before tears of joy, cold sweat, smile. It's honestly probably just a slip, especially if she was drinking. If she had a bad experience with him, it's very possible that while she is trying to repress it and not think about it, her brain was doing otherwise. She is probably super embarrassed. It has happened once to me, and it wasn't because I was fantasizing about the guy, but just because it was habit and I wasn't thinking. She is definitely going through something, and while everyone is shouting in this thread to break up, it's worth it to hear her out. If it's too much for you to take on helping her deal with trauma of her past, that's understandable too. But, from a place of whether you should feel insecure about her saying his name, I don't think so. If it happens again, well, that may be another issue. But when your drunk stuff comes up in your mind, let's be real, people. Agree. I feel like too many people are jumping on the "she's trash, dump her" train in this thread. I've read a post here of a girl who said she sometimes said the name of a long-term ex while having sex with her BF. She only said the name because she was used to saying the word, like some would say, fuck yes, while having sex. So it doesn't mean she thinks of this guy at all. That seems like a pretty trash excuse. From the title, I thought at first that you called her ex's name in bed, and I was like, why TF would you do that? Where did that even come from? That is what his therapist is going to suggest to take back control. Just wanted to point out that unfortunately it's common for women in emotionally abusive, or borderline abusive relationships, to think the sex is good. It's the only time they're connecting their partner, getting their needs met, feel loved in the relationship. The push-pull dynamic can also intensify the physical longing for that person. I'm not saying you shouldn't be bothered by this, but maybe she just had a momentary lapse in judgment and is adjusting to having a new sexual partner, assuming he is her most recent or most significant ex. Yeah, I really think that could be. She said she'd been beaten before for wearing leggings to a mall, so I assume this dude was a real great guy. 4 times. 5th would be a court order. She's trash. Leave. Don't have sex with drunk chicks. It's not a blame thing. I'm just saying that she sounds like a train wreck and might not have complete agency over herself, and booze makes it worse. She sounds like she needs professional peer support. I'm not a fan for turning a romantic partner into a counselor. It creates unfair dynamics and places burdens on new relationships. Dump her, bro. Let her deal with her trauma as a single woman. At the very least, downgrade her to an FWB. She probs did it by accident. If she keeps doing it, then be worried. It could have been a honest mistake though. 4 times. My partner has called me by his ex's name a few times, it really grates on me. I think 2 of the times he was drunk. Glad that it doesn't happen often. He is not in touch with her, although was with her for 7 to 8 years, so of course some things can become a habit. Might be the same in your case. Similarly, his ex did a number on him too, so he has trauma which he has mostly healed from. I would not read too much into it. Thank you. I thought I was taking crazy pills reading all the upvoted comments. I mean, some people's brains work differently and some people say the wrong words. I have done it once unintentionally and it meant nothing except that I was just comfortable and relaxed around my new boyfriend that autopilot had me saying the wrong name out of habit. My high school, college girlfriend did this accidentally in the early stages of our relationship. It killed the mood and she of course denied that she did it. After calming down, I didn't really take it personally or as offensive. I genuinely believe it was just an accident, and when you're in the heat of the moment and the sex is good, your mind kind of blanks out in a lot of ways. We went on to date 5 years and it never happened again. Look, I can see how this sucks for you and everything. But even if you don't want to keep seeing her romantically, be kind. Assuming she legitimately was traumatized, the last thing she needs is to be shamed. My girlfriend did this too, gave me the same reason. She was physically abused by her ex, so I kinda understand her, but damn, that shit hurts. Still with her? I mean, yeah, it's pretty whack, but also people have had deep connections with their exes and sometimes shit like this happens. It's up to you. For me, It's no big deal, but I know for some people, they get mad if you do that. It's probably a built-in defense mechanism to keep him happy, where she found he would be less angry if she did this. Not a big deal. Get over it. Dude, shush his face fucking you. I would definitely break up with her. I am concerned about why she would be calling out the name of an abusive ex. I don't care that she was drunk. It's ridiculous. Please stop making excuses for her. She calls out her ex who has traumatized her in a moment of pleasure. Makes sense. Shush is definitely capping to manipulate you into feeling bad for her. You don't call a partner an EXS name in bed 4 times if that name is associated with trauma. She not your girl, just your turn.